maybe. I always enjoy these because it's just like super ugly dudes just staring at a camera, just like
Okay.
making
Can
faces.
you hear me?
There it is.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna move because the sun is in my eyes.
Nice.
Ugh. Let me go sit at my rich mahogany desk over here.
Oh, mahogany.
Yeah, see that guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with my leather-bound books.
Wow, you're rich.
Like, because I'm studious. Here, let me go get a chair. Pull up my pants. What's up, buddy?
Oh, that's right. Their headphones. I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to?
No, I'm talking to the dog.
Oh, you are talking to Geode. No, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. I feel all official doing this at a. Hi, buddy. Are you gonna be annoying? Hi. What's
Edit.
up, man?
Well, good for you guys for having sun, dude. Like, it shit's fucking dark here already.
Yeah, it'll be dark here in about 20 minutes or so, probably.
Yeah.
Is this lighting okay, or is that light in the background kind of washing me out?
No, it's good.
Okay, cool.
I can see your beautiful face.
And my beautiful beard.
I'm so
So
glad you decided to keep letting that shit grow out versus old Scott.
yeah, yeah. No, well, I had my original beard. I call it when I look back on it, it's my depression beard because that's when I first started working with Blue, and I was already not in a good spot before then, and then I just kept growing it, and then the more drugs I was taking, my beard grew more, and I didn't like know how to trim it, and so it just went like out.
Yeah.
And so ouch, don't bite me. And so now I actually know how to trim it. I'm gonna get him treats and stuff so he doesn't keep
Oh,
biting me.
Geode.
He likes carrots.
Dogs are weird, dude. They'll eat some
Dog.
weird shit.
Yeah, he just loves carrots. But yeah, so now I know how to actually like trim my beard and like keep it like actually good.
Hmm.
Now it's like because it's semi-professional. Before it was like that and it was just too much. So
There's the true lineman beard. That was the same way in college. I'm like, okay, I'll go get a haircut and a beard trim, and then I won't touch you for another 4 or 5 weeks.
yep, yep, exactly. So and I haven't been able to recently or until recently grow a beard. Like it just after I got off a lot of the drugs, it slowed down, but I still have like the hair growth that I got from it. So that's a positive side effect.
Blue made you into a man.
That's true. He did make me into a man. That's right.
Uh,
Mm. Right. You want to hear about my sleep study?
I think everybody would love to hear about your sleep study.
Um, so I think I texted it to you, but I had 68 respiratory events in 4 hours. So basically I was averaging, I think it was like 17 respiratory events an hour. So that's either like an apnea where I wasn't breathing or a like respiratory event like where I was like choking or coughing or like trying to breathe, but I couldn't. And so yeah, that's why I haven't been sleeping because I was not breathing. And the longest time I didn't breathe was 45 seconds. So,
God,
which, yeah. So if I like, I can't, and that I didn't even sleep very well during the study. So I can't imagine like if I actually slept well, how much I like, how many times I would have almost died. Not almost died, but you know what I mean? Like, no.
I wish you could like train yourself at that point when you're sleeping, like not breathing to like actually train like doing stomach vacuums.
Yeah, that's true. You really, oh, stop it. Really just like work on waist control in my sleep.
That's how you know you really made it as a bodybuilder when you can control your sleep apnea like that.
That's right.
If
So
I
yeah,
can't
I'm gonna go on.
if I can't get big with my sleep apnea, I'll at least control my waist somehow.
That's right. Just like keep it nice and tight. But yeah, so we'll see. I'm getting a CPAP in a couple weeks. And so they were gonna do it was like between the mouth guard and the CPAP. And I sleep on my back most of the time, and that's when I have the most respiratory events. When I was on my side, I was only having like 7 per hour, but when I was on my back, I was having like 30 or 40 per hour, so it averages out to like 17. And so they were like, you could do the mouth guard, but it's probably not going to work, and it costs the same as a CPAP. And I was like, okay, so then I'm going to do a CPAP. Like, why would I even waste my time? So yeah,
I
so
I
hopefully that
feel
helps
like
because yeah,
I'm sorry. I feel like that's a
no, you're
common thing
good.
with big guys when sleeping on their back at least, or like I feel like I have problems too when I sleep on my back, or like just lots of people have more snoring episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things too. Like, I mean, you've seen me. I don't have like a big like barrel chest or anything. Like, I'm not built that way. What she was kind of explaining to me is it's my neck, like the muscles in my neck, and my this sounds kind of bad, but my throat muscles are really small, or like my throat is small, and
Need
so
to work on those.
I know I need to work on getting my throat bigger. My throat is like small, so when I fall asleep, all my neck muscles relax and get really heavy. I just like choke myself, and
Oh
so
God.
yeah, so it's that's kind of what happens. So it's not like my dad had sleep apnea and he was just really overweight, so like it was his belly and like everything was just like crushing his chest, and so basically that's what I always thought sleep apnea was, but it could also just be from bodybuilders just having a big neck or like a big chest, or and me just being heavier. I'm 255, 260 pounds, right? No matter if that's muscle or fat, that's gonna be still weight on my body, right? So
Sure.
yeah. Hi, buddy. He's being a pain in the butt. So
We got
yeah,
him
so
here.
we'll yeah, so like I texted earlier, it's like one of those things where, you were being poisoned by water, I'm not breathing. So now let's see if
Play
we
on
can
hard mode, baby.
play.
Gotta
So
play it on hard mode.
well, it makes me wonder, man, like how many people out there like don't realize stuff that's going on. And I know you guys talked about this with Taylor on her podcast. Like so many people give bodybuilding a bad rap for like, eating disorders, or like, oh, you're going up on stage. And it's like without bodybuilding, I would have had no idea that I had sleep apnea. I mean, maybe without bodybuilding, I wouldn't have got sleep apnea, but without bodybuilding, you wouldn't have realized that your water was poisoned. You would have just been like, oh, this is just normal. This is just a normal thing for me. And it's wild to me that like some people have this stuff and don't even realize because they're not in the gym and they don't realize how shitty and crappy they feel, right? So because
Mhm.
you don't realize how crappy you feel until you start feeling good or you start sleeping good. Like I haven't slept good since my last prep, which was like a year and a half ago. So, which is wild, but like I deal with it and because I feel okay because I work in the mornings. But as soon as it gets to the afternoon, like this time, like I'm done. Like I'm just exhausted. So yeah.
Or, or like, yeah, you people like don't even realize like what should be normal, right? Or like I guess what is their normal? It's like, oh well, I got heartburn. Well, I guess I'll just pop 6 tums again today. Like, no, it's just a
Yeah.
normal thing, dude. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
no, that shouldn't be a fucking normal thing. So yeah, no, you're absolutely right, man. That's I gotta think. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, bodybuilding, in that way. Like it can really shed light on a lot of things, and then obviously you take too much training, you die. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's right. Hey, stop it. Yeah, I might have to put him outside. I don't know why he's being such a pain. Um,
He wants to see Uncle Al.
Here, come here, buddy. Uh, uh, there's the boy.
Oh, there he is.
There's the boy. Here. See, that's you. Like, I don't care where the carrots. Hi, sweet boy. Okay, can you go now, please? Thank you. Um, so yeah, it's you're totally right with it being a double-edged sword. Like I was talking about this with a client earlier because he was a runner. Hey, oh my gosh. Let's go over here, buddy. One
Okay,
second, Alex.
Geode.
Sorry.
This was fun, Geode.
What am I gonna do? Here, let's go outside, huh, buddy? Go, go.
Dad, I just want to be an internet personality. You're not letting me do it.
I know I don't, he just gets in these moods. He was completely fine. And then I start doing stuff on my computer and he's like, oh, now's the time to be obnoxious. And so, but anyway, it's like I was talking about it with a client earlier. He was a runner. And so he would run, and he has heart issues from running. And he had to get an ablation because his heart rate was so used to being so high all the time. And so they gave him an ablation, and his doctor was like, "Yeah, the majority of people that are young getting ablations are runners or cyclists or something like that." And so like anytime you push any sport, like running and cycling is healthy, right? It's good for you. Lifting weights is good for you, but anytime you push it too far, and then that's where you start getting these health detriments, right?
Hmm.
Hmm. So yeah, so hopefully get that figured out, and maybe I can grow and just like be like 270 pounds shredded or something like that.
Now that you can sleep and I can eat food, we just blow up to 300 pounds easy.
That's right. Well, we're both taller, right? Like
Yeah.
that wouldn't be that crazy, but I don't know if I'd ever want to be 300 pounds again. I've been 300 pounds before and it didn't feel very.
No, I don't know a single person that is 300 pounds that says, yeah, this feels great.
Yeah. How heavy were you when you played football? Like when you were at your highest in college?
My highest, I think, honestly, I was higher in high school, dude. Like
Really?
I was like 295, 300, like junior, senior year of high school. And
Yeah.
then in college, we just my junior year, we didn't have any other people that could like snap a football other than me.
Okay.
So I literally took every single rep of practice at center through spring ball through the season. So like I got down to like 260 during the season one time.
Damn.
That sucked.
Damn.
I just hurt
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you had nose tackles over you that were like 320.
Yeah, it felt great with my spine problems too, let me tell you.
I'm sure.
You'll be fine, right? You just take every snap and then you just playing the games, dude. You'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be okay. And then having, 300-pound nose tackles just laying on you for basically 2 hours.
Oh God, man. It's awful.
Yeah,
Um,
when we first met, like my junior year, I was still a tight end. I wasn't an offensive lineman yet. So I was like 230 pounds. And they're like, okay, you need to be an offensive lineman. That's why I started working with Scott and doing that type of stuff. And I started my senior year in high school at 265 pounds. And then I got done with that. And then the Kima offered me because my grades are horrible. So that's the only place I could go. And they're like, okay, we want you to be 300 pounds by the time camp starts. And I was like, okay. And so I think I've told you this, but I would do those serious mass shakes. Did you ever drink those?
uh, no, I never really got into those, luckily.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was a big like McDonald's or just Frappuccino kind of guy. So
So what I would do every day, I would do two of those serious mass shakes with two raw eggs in them. And I would do the animal pack powdered vitamins in there. And I would do 10 grams of creatine in each one. So I do two of those a day. So I was having 20 grams of creatine a day, plus the serious mass. So I was getting like 3,000 calories from these two shakes. Plus, I was eating meals. That's when I started meal prepping. I was eating Tupperware in the back of class in high school, and I would have teachers be, and I was like, I had my offers. I knew my grades were bad. I was going to graduate, right? And I would have teachers be like, "You can't eat that in here." I'd be like, "Okay, I'll just leave." And they're like, "You can't just leave." I'm like, "I'm going to do one or the other." And so I just leave. And and then every Friday I would go with my buddies to Five Guys back when Five Guys was cheaper. And I would do my Five Guy Fridays and I would go there and eat five burgers every Friday.
you had
And
five of those?
yeah, every Friday. And
Oh
I got to 300, I got to 300 pounds. And that was my first
my
introduction
yeah,
to
you did.
blood work because I got blood work done because I have family history of heart issues and stuff. So my mom was like, or my primary care and my mom were like, you should probably get blood work. So I got it done, and my kidneys were fucking angry, and like my creatinine was through the roof. And the doctor was like, "What are you doing?" And I told him, and he was like, "Yeah, don't do that."
That's, that's, your cholesterol is over like 9,000.
Yeah. Well, and I was
It just
also
says double
following.
cheeseburger.
Yeah, that's all. It's just like my blood. They pull out the blood in the syringe, and it's just like ketchup. It's just like syrup. But no, or excuse me, what I was following was Jay Cutler. He has a program on bodybuilding.com. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's like building mass with Jay Cutler. And so I'd follow his meals and his workout. back then, not understanding that the amount of drugs he was on. And so I was like, I could do this. And so I'd lift like 5 or 6 days a week, super high volume, eating all this food. And I got to 300 pounds, but I was so big and slow by the time I got to camp. I got my ass beat. I was a tackle. I got moved to guard, and I was like a left and right guard because I couldn't move. I could not do like a kick step to save my life. And so they were like, "Yeah, let's like not do that." And then I quit. So it worked out, but
Let's just not, dude, I'm gonna need 5 cheeseburgers right now or I'm out of here.
yeah. And then when I was in college, like, because I was pretty depressed down there because I hated it, I had a mini fridge next to my bed. And every week when I would go shopping, I would get one of those like dishes or like tins of cookie dough, and I would eat that throughout the week. Just sitting there, I play video games, just sit there, and I would just house. I would do homework. I would sit there. So my whole daily routine, I would get up at 5 for morning weights, do morning weights. We'd have morning meetings. Then I was in online school. I'd come home and play Rainbow Six Siege with my buddy Jordan, who was unemployed at the time. And Rainbow Six Siege, I don't know if you ever played that, but like when you die, you die. You don't get. It's a fantastic game. And I would die, and then I would just because I was really bad. I would die, and then I would do a couple questions on my online homework, and then I would play again, and I would be eating cookie dough, and then I would go back to practice at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon,
Oh my
from four
God.
till seven, and then I would go back home and I would eat all night, and I would go to bed at like 2 in the morning and get up again at 5 for morning weights. And I was like, no wonder I'm depressed. I was like, why am I so depressed and unhappy? And well, I was doing that type of shit. Hey, you ready to stop being an asshole, buddy? Come
Yes, Dad.
on. So yeah, and then I tell people that, and because that's why, one of the positive sides of bodybuilding, I kind of pulled myself out of that. So,
I was gonna say too, just like I don't know like a single like any athlete in college, let alone like football, that was probably in a good headspace. You know,
hmm
you know what I mean? Like trying to balance all that homework, especially if you were actually like trying to do your homework. You know what I
yep,
mean? And
yep,
try and do all your football stuff, and
yep,
hopefully maintain some sort of social life, and
yep.
be good at Xbox. Like those are all hard things to balance. You know?
Well, and also too being in a junior college, right? Like I loved my junior college experience, and like, but it was just like we had a couple dudes get shot on our team. We had like an FBI drug bust at one of our morning weights. Like we had some shit go on in our team, and I was like one of three white dudes on the team, and I was like, oh, this isn't this isn't Bellingham anymore. This is Tucson, Arizona. And it was a good experience. I love all those
Oh
guys
my
and I
God.
miss them, but I was like, yeah, it was definitely not the best headspace for me to be in.
Did you not MSU we had like a freaking Xanax ring my junior year? Did
Oh,
you
really?
did I ever tell you about this?
No.
No,
You said
so
a Xanax ring?
yeah, freaking literally fucking so Jeff Choate was our head coach at the time. When did you start drinking out of a freaking mason jar?
Alex, you're influencing me whether you like it or not.
You make a gym in a barn. Next thing you know, you're listening to country music and drinking water out of freaking mason jars.
That's right. Well, and it's sparkling water, so I'm still kind of
Oh,
bougie. So yeah,
okay.
so it's yeah.
Okay, good. No, so our head coach was I think he was just the linebackers coach from UW. All I do remember is he was a UW coach who ended up becoming our head coach, and so like he ended up bringing a bunch of like UW transfers over. Um, one guy was Nate Dogg's son.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
There was
I
that guy.
remember when he was on UW. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had transferred over, and then there was some other DB, and I don't know, just literally what we just went up to a meeting one time, and like next thing you know, like FBI or drug task force
Yeah.
takes these two guys away. Yep.
That's
So
so
these
funny.
guys are gone. So they've been running a Xanax drug ring. We're just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Just
That's wild.
just sitting in like a regular meeting before practice, or no, it was like an after school meeting. We're just sitting here, these two guys just getting taken away. Just like
That's so funny.
What the fuck?
Yeah, ours happened at morning weights. We were all lifting, and like six FBI dudes came in and were like looking for this dude. So what happened allegedly, if my memory serves me correctly, is we got this JUCO transfer from like Oklahoma or something like that, and or somewhere in the Midwest. And anyway, we got him, and he was involved in one trafficking drugs from that JUCO to this JUCO. But what he kind of got busted for was a rape. It was like a gang rape thing. And so yeah, they were looking for him, and I think they'd gotten him. But it was a really like bad situation. And then the other time with the two dudes that got shot, it was at a party, and our people on our team like to fight a lot. And so this one dude was starting to fight with another dude, and they were getting in the truck. And so they're like sitting, like let's say like I'm in the passenger seat, and someone shot from like this way, and he hi buddy, and he got shot. One of them got shot through the chest like that, and the other one got shot in the elbow, and it like broke his elbow. And so the next morning we came to morning weights, and there was only like five of us there that didn't hear the news. Like me, I didn't party. I was playing Xbox and eating cookie dough like a fatty. And we got there, and our coach was like, "Yeah, there's no weights this morning. Two of our guys got shot." And we were like, "What?" I was like, "What the fuck?" Me and my buddy Derek, who was one of the other white dudes on the team, and I think my other buddy Andrew, we were like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Oh, so the three white dudes on the team were friends, huh?
Yeah, believe it or not. There were
That's
a
funny.
couple white dudes that didn't really hang out with us, but yeah, the nerdy big offensive lineman white kids were all friends. So the other two were like DBs and wide receivers. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Did
So
did you ever have any problems with like people showing up drunk to like workouts or anything?
not that I was aware of. Probably high, but not drunk as far as I know.
There,
So
there was one. This was sophomore year. Yeah, right when I transferred over, there was this one Native American kid that showed up to the weights just absolutely hammered in the morning from the night before.
oh really?
I've never seen someone's ass get chewed so hard in my entire life.
I wouldn't even show up. I would just be like, yeah, sorry, coach, I slept in.
He, he was too drunk to make that smart decision, Scott.
That you know what? That's right. That's true. Did he get kicked off the team or just like disciplined?
I'm pretty sure he got kicked off, and I'm pretty sure he's in prison for like a DUI.
Oh fuck. Well, that
Yeah,
sucks.
so
Yeah.
sad story there.
Good old football memory lane. Football teams, especially college teams, have such like a mishmash of people, like such a mixing pot of like different people from different backgrounds, especially junior college. And I'm sure same with like Montana State, like a bunch of like Montana boys, and then like some people that were just recruited by them from elsewhere, right? So
If you wanted to see what a locker room full of like a bunch of Montana dudes and then just black dudes watching Blazing Saddles, that was us. Like, what the fuck are
yeah,
we watching?
yeah. Geode, stop. Go away.
You see, Mac doesn't do that to me because he doesn't care about me.
You see, Geode is a child and likes to act like a puppy sometimes, even though he's 4 years old and weighs 75 pounds. So he can't do that. Outside,
He's a puppy at heart.
he's going to be probably a puppy forever because he's a German Shepherd Husky. He's just going to be a pain in the ass forever, probably. So,
Huh.
yeah, good old football. I miss it from time to time, but not really.
Yeah, I gotta say, I really do enjoy. I miss it, but like just this lifestyle and actually like kind of getting to do specifically what you love to do and not
Yeah,
having to worry. It's not that like the team aspect is bad. Like I truly love a lot of those guys, but doing your own shit, it's
yeah,
pretty nice too. You're really focusing
yeah.
on it.
I miss the team, and like I have my team SMG where we're all like friends, but it's different, right? Like, and just kind of the way I am, I've always liked doing stuff like on my own, like even with team stuff. Like I had a few friends down at Pima, but I never like got really close with like a bunch of people like the team, right? I was never really like that. So I loved high school football. High school football was the best, but then college football was like, oh, this is like a job. This is different. And I was in junior college, but still I was like, oh shit, like there's morning weights, there's morning meetings, there's afternoon meetings, there's 3 hours of practice.
Oh yeah,
I was like, this isn't fun anymore. So I
it's a
like doing
different
what I'm
world.
doing now. Mhm. So is when those UW guys transferred, is that when Stirk transferred over to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Good old Stirk.
Spe-
But I I've
speaking of
told
which, speaking of
I've
which,
told you, yeah, go on.
I have to talk about Bryce. Speaking of
Okay.
which, me and him have to go get Texas Roadhouse tomorrow, so that's good thing you brought that up.
We're getting a Texas Roadhouse in Bellingham, which is awesome. So because
Good
we
for
don't
you
have
guys.
like yeah, we don't have any chains here, which is kind of shitty, but also kind of nice. But none of the local places are that great. So but yeah, Stir, did I ever tell you my story of when he beat my ass my sophomore year?
Absolutely, because every time we bring up Bryce Stirk, we always talk about how he beat the living shit out of you. It gets me every
That's
time.
that's when I was 210 pounds and a tight end, and I was like the sixth lineman because he was so good, and so I just like shadowed him wherever he went, and yeah, he beat my ass. So I've told you that.
We it's, we didn't realize it until like one of the last years we were playing together, but apparently we both ended up going to the same like Portland State like football camp back in the day,
Hmm.
and ended up like doing a bunch of one-on-ones. Like we were both pretty good at those at the time, so like when we were both there, it's like we were trying to figure, or I was trying to figure out who the fuck was like kicking my ass half the time because it was pretty
Yeah,
consistent. And like it turned out that it was Bryce, and he also fucked up my ankle at that point.
yeah,
So I always like to give him shit that he like ruined part of my football career. My ankle's constantly fucked up.
yeah. He was so good, man. Not to just reminisce about high school this whole podcast or football, but when he that his senior year, he was such a monster up here. And I remember everyone thought he was on steroids in high school because he was the only like kid with any sort of muscle, but he was just a man amongst kids. Like he was just a monster.
It, which is funny because like I've seen pictures of him like earlier in high school. Like he was a lanky track guy.
Yep.
That's funny. Do you know what his diet consists of?
No, I don't.
3 gallons of whole milk a day. That's pretty much it.
That sounds about right. That sounds about like a Linden kid.
That's all he drank during football, and it was the grossest thing ever.
That's so awesome. I mean,
But
good
if
for
it
him if
works,
his
it works.
digestion can, if it works, it works. That's right.
Yeah. Do you ever wonder like how many like dudes and like that played football were actually taking shit like that?
Yeah, I never really saw it in JUCO. As far as I know, I knew dudes that did like test boosters and like pro hormones and stuff, but like nothing, like I never saw gear. I can imagine it's in the NFL. Like I wouldn't like they
Yeah.
know when the drug tests are like they're not doing, as far as I can tell, they're not doing like the USADA hair follicle test like the UFC does. Like,
Mhm.
I'm sure it's. Did you ever wonder or see it?
I don't think I ever saw it. The more I talked to some dudes, like towards the end of it, they're like, "Well, we were gonna try some SARMs this off season." I'm like, I mean, go ahead, dude. I sure, why not? But I don't know. It's like you look at teams like North Dakota State or just some of those that are just always super consistent. It's just like maybe or just
Yeah.
some genetic freaks you got on your team. I mean, I think it's possible that some people are just like that fucking wicked, but also it just makes you kind of wonder with how easy it kind of is to get access to a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, I'd be curious now because like TRT is so popular now. Like it wasn't
Mhm.
really a thing when we were in college, right? I'd be because I got on TRT when I was like 19 or 20. And there's so many doctors out there that will prescribe it to anyone. I'd be curious how many like college kids are just like, oh yeah, I'm on TRT and they get it prescribed and they can get away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Watch that be like the new thing, dude.
It
All
could
your
be. I don't
athletes
know.
get 300 milligrams of test and 2 IU's of growth hormone for the next 4 or 5 years while you're on scholarship.
It's just hormone replacement. It's optimization. It's not steroids. It's
Just optimizing
optimization.
our kids.
Yeah, that's right. When they do blood work, it says 1,500 plus nanograms of testosterone, but it's fine.
It's they'll be good. There's no long-term
Mhm.
health effects or anything.
No, it's fine. It's as long as they're not with us in 10 years, it's okay. So we can deal with it while they're here for 4 years.
It's as long as they don't get injured the 4 times and we have to medical redshirt them, we'll be good.
Like, is that Bo Nix that's like in his 6th year of college right now,
Yeah,
playing at
dude. Like
Oregon?
I just wanted one extra semester of football to play. No, Alex can't get that. It's fucking
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. But then Bo Nix he was in college, I think, when I was in college.
Yeah, dude. It's just
Yeah.
some ridiculous shit. I want to say there's like 1 or 2 kids that are still there when I was playing at MSU that that
Oh,
were not
really?
freshmen, dude. Just like
That's
I
so
don't know how the
funny.
hell you guys are still here. It's ridiculous. I know Eastern's center had like 7 years.
Damn.
Yeah,
What was do you know his name?
not off the top of my head, no.
There was a Eastern lineman that was up here that also kicked my ass. I forget his name. Big ass dude, but um, yeah, it's funny how like small the football world can kind of be around here sometimes. Like how Stirk and like we both know Chris and like those type of things. Or like I know a guy named Jason that also knows Chris, and they knew Derek, my buddy. It's kind of funny how small it is. Yeah, that's right.
As you get closer to the top, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, but we originally planned to do an Olympia breakdown. I know it's for 30 minutes, but
That's
but
all right,
I'm
dude.
still yeah, hey, that's okay. People get to know the real us, the football us. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah.
The good
So go on.
I was going to say the good news, at least, Coach Scott, from your help yesterday, is my digestion's way better today. So good job.
Did you lower your protein,
No,
or what'd you do?
honestly, all I did was I managed like the timing I was doing of the betaine. I don't know if you ever use like betaine HCl with a lot of your people,
Mm,
but like as you're having problems with digestion, especially with protein, and sometimes you just don't have the stomach acid to break down all that. For me, 350 grams of just straight meat. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Just throwing
yeah.
throwing in some of that betaine can help you break it down. I was trying to do it without it, and then I was like, I because we had finally cleaned up everything and took it out. So I'm like, we just bumped it up again. Let's just throw it back in and see what happens. Now I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm sitting here today and I'm like able to actually scarf down 4,500 calories, which is kind of weird to me because
yeah.
that
That's
is a
wild.
buttload of food.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that because I stop it, buddy. I increased my red meat. So I lowered my protein during the day so I could stomach more carbs right now. But then I
Mm,
added more protein at night because I'm not doing carbs with my first meal or my last meal of the day. I'm just doing high fat like red meat or like eggs.
sure.
And so at night I'm eating like 250 grams of steak. And so in the morning, it feels okay. Like I don't feel like bloated, but like in the morning, right now, the past couple days have been a little nauseous because you're right. I'm probably just like not, I don't have the stomach acid to like break it down because like I don't feel bloated, but I just kind of feel like icky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, dude, I would try that betaine stuff. Like all it is your stomach acid in pill form. So I noticed
Yeah.
that really helps out. And then like if I don't like for a long time I was having problems with like burping, like when waking up almost. I'm like, the
Hmm.
hell, dude? Like all I had was some water and some thyroid meds. Like it's clearly not my problem right now. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems to
Yeah.
be okay, but one day in of Burza Scott coaching.
That's right. I'll be your intern coach forever. No, my gut stuff, what I've been doing, and I learned this from Blue, and I've done it for a while, but I just up the glutamine. I do in the morning, I do 10 grams of glutamine, and then like a slice of lemon with some salt, and I drink that on my morning walk and before my cardio. and then I'll eat like 30 minutes later. And I feel like that really settles my stomach down. And then at night, I do 10 grams of glutamine and then 10 grams of fiber powder. And I do
Mm.
that. And that seems to really help. And then I also do 150 grams of kimchi with my first meal and my last meal. And I think that helps a ton. I started throwing in kimchi to a lot of my competitors' plans because that's one of those foods where it's like, as a coach, I almost feel bad sometimes putting in there because they can be kind of gnarly. And so most people like it, but it's either like kimchi or sauerkraut. So I just started putting it in there as long as they can stomach it. And especially for a few of my people that are really pushing food right now, like one of my clients, Christy, she's once again built kind of like Taylor, and I'm making her eat a bunch because that's what I love doing as a coach. Like she can,
Force
and
feed.
she's like, man, I'm just like super bloated. And I was like, okay, let's try kimchi if you can stomach it. And it just like in a week, she was like, I feel so much better. And I was like, so I think I'm just gonna start having that be a staple in all my plans, no matter what, if it's lifestyle or competitor.
I like that. No, that's really good. No, we do something pretty similar. I used to do like that whole apple cider vinegar shit in lemon juice,
Yeah.
but honestly, what's been working is that same glutamine deal. I'll do 15 grams. I don't really know how big of a difference that makes, like on those 5 gram increments, but that works. And then I did try throwing in some just like actual tooth cut powder
Hmm.
just to like have more like bile flow in there just to support that a little bit. That
Yeah.
seems to do something. And then some zinc carnosine.
What's zinc carnosine do?
It's kind of along the same lines of what glutamine does in terms of like helping with your gut lining.
Hmm.
So that's I didn't even start doing that until Berzacot. So that's kind of more of his deal, but that seems to work pretty decent. And then yeah, just that glutamine toothpick combo seems to do all right. Trying to think.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
the
that's
TEDCA.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I do the TEDCA for. I only do it based on blood work because I've had issues with it with myself with like some gut like cramping type of stuff.
Hmm.
And so I don't like to throw it in, but like I just threw it in with Taylor and Una's plan just based on their blood work. And it's so far it's I don't know. We'll see. It's yeah, we'll see how it goes with their blood work because they weren't having any issues with digestion, but it was stuff for their liver, and just stuff
Yeah.
for their uh, glucose because obviously if your liver isn't functioning very well, you can't really process glucose either if like you're one way where you're hypoglycemic or if you're hyperglycemic, either way your liver's not functioning the best. So getting that tech in there. But yeah, I always had issues like when I took the Revive liver, I would get like kind of like floaty and gassy, and so I stopped taking it, and my blood work has been the same. But anyway,
What I realized with the revived liver too, because I had that same sort of problem. What I looked at the actual label of it. What they had put in is freaking calcium carbonate. So what that is a TUM, right? So
mm,
basically that's just fucking with your stomach acid again. So I took that shit right out and I noticed a big improvement with that.
huh? I yeah, that's it's all that little shit. It sucks that you have to look at that type of
Yeah.
stuff, but
It's fucking ridiculous
yeah,
that you have to pay attention to a lot of that stuff and really you just it's almost better to just find these random supplement companies that just do this one specific thing just so you don't get fucked by something else. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's what I do. I do all my supplements are NutriCost on Amazon. Like I use that type of stuff. And
Yeah.
because it's just the ingredient. And so I'm not worried about like getting a whole bunch of stuff. The only other thing that I use oh, what is it called? It's a GDA by Better by Biology, Brianni and Jake's company, or Brianni, excuse me. It's Max Uptake. It's their GDA.
Okay.
Have you ever taken a GDA before?
I I was always a pretty religious like Revive glucose guy,
Mhm.
and then I just got away since working with Matt. I just kind of got away from more of that stuff, except for the kidney. I still take Revive kidney just because I think that's probably one of the better things out there. But like, no, I'll just take like straight berberine right now.
So I took the revived glucose for a while. Just I took that with meals, and so I was talking with Jake about the max uptake, And he was like, dude, and obviously it's his company, but he was like, dude, this is like insulin in a bottle. I was like, okay, sure. He was like, what you do is take 4 caps with your post-workout meal. So that's my highest carb meal. That's like 175 grams of Fruity Pebbles, right? And so he's like, take that 15 minutes before and eat the Fruity Pebbles. And I took that and it legit felt for like 3 hours that I still had a pump. And I've never
Oh,
felt that from a GDA. Like I was like veiny and just like big and my shirt was tight and I was like, and I usually with that post workout meal, I get kind of tired because it's a lot of carbs and I'm tired from it. I felt like a
mm,
house. I was like, holy crap. So that's been the only GDA where I noticed like a big difference was like from
interesting.
taking it. Yeah, so it's a little bit more expensive, but you only use it, or I've only used it on post workout, and I noticed a big difference with that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Huh. That's
so
I I don't know. I feel like so many different things worked. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like it's hard to pass up results like that too.
yeah, and
You have to test
it's
them out.
what works for your body.
That's always a hard part with what we do, man. We're basically just freaking customer service agents for all these people.
That's true. And figuring out what works best for people's bodies, right? Like
Yeah.
I like right now, like you talked with it about with Taylor a little bit, like I had that consult with Jake and I learned a whole bunch of new stuff. So it's like I want to apply all that stuff now. And I've seen it work. And then for a couple of my clients, even in the first couple of weeks, I see it not work, right? And I was talking to Taylor about it. It's like a lot of the stuff I learned from Jake is good stuff, but I wouldn't throw it into someone's plan who I'm just starting with, right? Because it's just going to be so overwhelming where it's just going to be like, wait, you want me to do a breathing technique post workout, you want me to do a gut shake morning and night, you want me to do this GDA post workout 15 minutes before I eat it, and then you want me to stay in zone 2 cardio, and it's just like I can't do this. And it's like, okay, well, some people, like even if they're a competitor, like starting them out with just a meal plan and maybe a gut shake and kind of going from there, right? So
Yeah, dude. If I've learned anything this year, especially, it's to just completely fucking oversimplify what you give somebody right off the bat because you can always build upon it. You know, like
yeah,
I used to have like the most elaborate spreadsheet like known to mankind. I would try and explain all this different shit that we could do just right to somebody off the bat. And like it would be for like Carla who's 45 and hasn't worked out in 10 years. You know what I mean? Like she just
yeah.
wants to know what to eat and how to maybe how much cardio to do daily. Like you don't just oversimplify the shit out of things.
Yeah, and that's where in my mind, like, and you probably do the same thing. I have my lifestyle people, my bodybuilder people, and I put like kind of a line in between them. So it's like, where am I putting my effort into them? Like, let's say I get a check-in from a lifestyle person that's like, hey, I went off plan this week because it was my kid's birthday, and blah 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 blah. My response in the email is going to be a lot better than if a competitor who's in prep tells me that, right? So it's kind of like, where am I going to be? And so, and then same thing with building a plan, right? With a competitor, someone that wants like competitor type results, I'm going to be like, okay, you're getting 150 grams of chicken, 150 grams of jasmine rice, 100 grams of veggies, right? Versus a competitor, I'm going to be like, or a non-competitor, excuse me, a lifestyle, I'm going to be like, okay, it's 150 grams of lean meat of choice. So it's going to be chicken, white fish, ground turkey, something like that. And then 150 grams of either a rice or beans or something like that. And then so it kind of like it
Mhm.
gives them a little bit more freedom. And then if they come to me in like 2 months and they're like, hey, Scott, I just feel like the results aren't working as much as I want them to, I'm going to be like, okay, would you be okay with tightening it down a little bit? And usually they're like, yeah, you know what? I think I could tighten it down a little bit. And then we'll shift over a little bit into that more competitor style. But they've
Mhm.
built the habits of tracking for 2 months. But they're inconsistent every day with the food choices, which is causing them to be plateaued. So we can kind of twist that dial. And then I've twisted people away from the super strict stuff too. So it kind of that's everyone's a little bit different.
Absolutely. So like freaking I'm all about just like, okay, can I maybe get 4 meals if I'm lucky with like 80 grams of some sort of lean meat? We'll put some chocolate here at the end of the day with some nuts, maybe some fruit. Like
Yeah.
we just take like a mile walk outside. Let's start with this. Let's see how this goes for a week. Just build
Yeah.
upon from there. No, that's really what it is, man. It's just people and their expectations and just kind of gauging kind of where that's at.
Yeah, the big one is expectations, right? Because I get a ton of people that are like, I want to look like Taylor, or I want to look like Una, or I want to look like Danny. And I'm
Do
like,
you?
okay. I was like, that's great. That's fantastic. Let me show you what Una's doing. Let me show you what Taylor's doing. Like, let me show you what Danny's doing, right? Like with Una, we're going through a whole bunch of stuff with her blood work. Are you willing to go through the patience of going through that? With Taylor, she's eating 3,500 fucking calories and weighs 140 pounds and is 5'2" or 5'3".
So disgusting.
Like Danny is being getting shredded down to the point where she's seeing striations in her glutes, right? Like, do you want to do one of those three options? And it's like, oh, like what does that take to do that? It's like, well, patience with the blood work, eating all the food, or mindless amounts of cardio and really low food. Like, and then they it's telling that expectation. And I'm not using those three as an example of like, oh man, like you need to be like them. It's like, no, this is what it takes if you want to be there. And then also, are you prepared to have that type of coach from me? Are you a 35-year-old mom who just wants a general guide of like a handhold of where we're going? Or do you want the more like coach that's like, hey, don't go off plan, like the more strict, like what do you want from me? And a lot of people, once I have that consult with them, like they look up to Una or Taylor or Danny. But once I have that consult, I've had some people are like, yeah, let's do it. But I've had some people are like, oh no, I want to be more so on the lifestyle side. And so I'm not saying that to scare people at all, but I'm saying that to just give people the perspective of like, you love how they look, just see what how much work it takes to put in. Are you willing to do that? And sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no.
So where does my pizza party fit into this meal plan?
My favorite, I've been getting this a lot recently, is like how strict do I have to be on the alcohol? I'm like, well, it depends on where you want to be. Like if you can be less than one drink a week, that's fine. But the shitty thing with alcohol is, you overdo alcohol, let's say you overdo a bag of cookies. You eat a bag of cookies one night and you're just like, fuck, your meal plan's gonna be screwed up for about a day, right? You overdo it on alcohol, your blood glucose in your sleep is screwed for 2 to 3 to 4 days. Like you're just screwed, right? So that's been the big one where it's like alcohol really has no need in a plan sometimes. And that's where like we can work towards it. Like I'm not expecting people to work with me and stop immediately, but it's like that's something where I rarely can try to work that into a program. You know what I mean?
Quote, we need to start working O'Doul's into our plan somehow.
That's right. Like or like Ronnie Coleman the night before the Olympia, how he'd or do a shot or two or whatever it was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't Jay Cutler,
Get drunk.
wasn't he the one that made him do that?
I think it was Kevin Levrone.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was Kevin Levrone. Um, yeah, that was, it was so funny. In my last show, a couple of competitors were like, can we like, I'm so nervous. Can I drink before I get on stage? And I was like, you haven't drank in like 6 months. Let's just not throw that into the system right before you get on stage.
Dude, my first show, I had like a shot or two of like, I think it was like Red Label or something, like right before I went on. Like, Ronnie Coleman drank before he went on. Nope. Nope, dude.
Yeah,
You're wrong.
that's so awesome. That's
Good,
so
good job,
awesome.
Alex. We're
Yeah,
great bodybuilder at the time.
yeah, that's so awesome. But you learn,
You do live and you do learn. Hopefully.
allegedly.
If you live and you don't learn, that's typically when you end up dying at some point.
I had a boss tell me at one point, people are dumb and then they die. It's just something that happens,
That's my favorite Scott quote though.
Yeah, people are dumb and then they die. That's from my old boss and friend Zach Starr. We worked at GNC, and one day he just like we had a stupid customer that was doing something stupid, and he left. And Zach was like, "People are dumb and then they die," and that's I've written that quote ever since. And so whenever someone is dumb around me, I'm just like, people are dumb and then they die, and that's all we can think of.
It's true though. It's
It's
not
very
wrong.
true.
It's not wrong.
Nope, not wrong at all.
All right.
So.
Well, should we actually get into the Olympia stuff now?
Sure, it's been about an hour, but I can do about 30 more minutes.
Quick,
That's fine.
quick recap. Okay.
Sure.
Let's think of everything. Bikini. Do we care about bikini?
The only reason I care about bikini is because I have a couple bikini competitors. So this is the first year I've actually like watched it somewhat, and I think they're going in a good direction with it. I think they didn't look as muscular as they have, but
Yeah.
that's about all I can say about it. There's that Mike Van Wyck thing he said in the last podcast is like, we need to mandate that the bikini girls fucking walk faster because there's 50 of them and they don't need to walk slow because it makes the show go longer. So that's about all I got for bikini.
Cool. Perfect. Wellness. Um, France sales huge.
Yeah, that's all I have to say.
And
Wellness is insane.
they're all monsters.
It's just like like you can train as hard as you can, but like all of those girls, and you can say that about any of these divisions, but those wellness girls, like that division, the genetics play the highest role, I think, with any other division. Like they're just you have to have that look. And
Hmm.
like I don't know how you can like as a coach get someone that lean yet keep them so full but not striated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's wild. Like I would love to learn. Like they've got big quads with lines in them, but it's not like striated and crazy. Like I got Danny lean and striated, but like how do you get that but still have that? It's wild to me.
I don't know, man. Wellness is just a whole different league of their own, man.
Yeah,
Truly.
it's a great division. I'm glad they put it in there.
Yeah. No, I think Morgan is too.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you watch any of the other girls' um
I paid
divisions?
attention to figure a little bit,
Okay.
because obviously the majority of my competitors are figure,
Hmm.
and so I paid attention to that a little bit. Sydney, she's the goat of figure, like that's figure. I don't know if you know who that is, but the only thing is she looked a lot better on it this year. She has a little bit of scoliosis, so like one of her lats is like a little bit like but like that's just nitpicking at that point. She's like 99.9%. She's like if she was a dude, it would be like Chris Bumstead, right? Like she's that dominant. Everyone's training for second. And then women's physique, I didn't really pay much attention to that, except I know it was Natalia, whatever her last name is. She got second, and the other girl got first. I don't know if you paid much attention to that, but and then fitness, Missy got hurt. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, dude. What the hell even happened with that?
It looks like she tore her ACL.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. I thought she like hurt her ankle or some shit.
No, she was doing a tumble and she landed on it like
Well, I
super
forgot.
hard. Yeah, and then like and pour it up. And then the girl who got second, and I don't know if you saw her. She's her name on Instagram is Little Fitness. She has no physique. Like she has legit no muscle. Her routine was great, but she has legit like there's no muscle like on her body. It's like you would look at her and be like, okay, that's a fit girl, but it's like to me at the Olympia, there's got to be some level of muscle. I don't know why she got second, but once again, I'm not a judge. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
So
and really anything past like figure, I haven't really paid much attention to. The
yeah,
really the only
yeah.
women's physique girl I really know of is freaking Walker Brook, and that just because she's a Bershka client. So
Oh, okay.
I think she
I
got third or fourth. I don't remember.
There was a girl that competed against Danny, and she goes to our gym. Her name is Jules. She's
Mhm.
really nice. She's coached by Jay Jacoby.
Oh,
And
that's right. Yep.
she got like she was in second or third call out. She's got a beautiful physique. She posing like in the gym, like walking around, she doesn't look that big, but when she poses, she gets just like big and like her legs and they sweep and she's just like has a really good, pretty flowing physique for women's physique. And she poses really well. She's really fun to watch. I'm excited to see where she goes in the next couple of years because she's just turned pro last year. This year was her pro debut and she won. She got fifth in figure against Danny's show, and then she did women's physique 2 weeks later and won. So I'm really excited to see kind of where she goes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So yep. Yep.
Um,
So what on to the men's divisions.
Did you did you watch Men's Physique at all?
No.
Okay, well, we got nothing to recap.
I did like how who they chose to win, Ryan Terry. I don't
Yeah,
know if you paid much if like that's what I think they made a statement with that. Like that's what men's physique should look like. Like his arms weren't massive, his chest was good, but not like overpowered. He wasn't a bodybuilder in shorts. Like he looked
yeah.
really good.
Hmm.
Like like that's a look that any dude could like potentially look like within reason. He's not like huge shoulders, small waist. He's just like looks like a normal kind of dude with some extra muscle. Like I think that was a really good choice. But other than that, no, I hate men's physique.
I think overall with most of like how they judged this year, I think they really got back to actually choosing the winner for their like the actual category, versus just like as shredded, as big as possible and everything. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yep.
So that
Yeah,
you could see that in
they stopped
12.
using the oh yeah, sorry. You did do that in 212.
Sorry, what you were
But
saying?
yeah, no, so I think there's a little delay, so we keep talking, and I also like to talk, so just tell me to shut the fuck up if you need me to. But I think because they use the men's open bodybuilding, like what you just said, like the biggest and most shredded. They use that for every single category, and that was where men's physique was starting to get too big. Bikini was starting to get too like shredded, and then so it seems like they actually took the time to differentiate the divisions this year.
Yeah, yeah,
So.
absolutely. Yeah, as soon as well getting into 212, as soon as Keown won that, I'm like I'm pretty sure freaking Derek's gonna win it all. Kind of like we were
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. I think you texted me that too. Or we talked about that on the podcast that day.
Hmm. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you agree with that? I think Keown was I think back wise, like his his freaking back lat and back double were fucking nuts compared to Sean. Like, he was
Yeah.
wild.
I think Sean's got more muscle.
Yeah,
I think that they tried to put too much more muscle on him. Like he was allegedly 5 pounds bigger this year. He didn't
mhm,
need 5 more pounds. Like like so his gut was a little bigger this year. He just didn't
yeah,
look as proportionate. So I think they just went with like, we need to be bigger. And it's like, no, like you are the Sean is the biggest pound for pound person on the planet. If he wasn't like 5'4", he would be like, let's say he was Samson's height, he would be like 330 pounds, like if he was the same proportions. He doesn't need to be bigger, especially in 212. So I think it was a good call with Keon, and I also, like you said, I think the judges made a kind of a statement with that a little bit.
yeah. It's I really think they want to bring back more of the blend of aesthetic and
Yeah,
size and all that versus just here's as much beef as we can put on this human.
yeah,
Choose.
exactly. Yep. There was a question in the bro chat the other day, and I was a curious question. Do you think the 212 division is now kind of becoming redundant now that the top two in the world in the men's open came from 212?
I mean, yes and no. Like I feel like if you tried putting some of those other 212 guys up against some of those other open guys, like they're just not even going to come close
Yeah.
right now. But it's I mean I guess at the same part, I don't know. I fuck, dude, I don't know. That's hard to say. I think I think no, just because they're just not big enough to really hold on to it. But maybe that's I guess.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it's
I
tough,
also
right?
just don't
Because
want
you
to see
could
a whole
say like,
division go away.
yeah, it's tough because like Sean Clarita, he beat Regan and Sergio Oliva Jr., last year. And
Right.
those guys were 100 pounds heavier than him. And I know that's Sean Clarita, but Regan was ninth or 10th. So technically that would have put Sean in like that 7, 8, 9 category. Like that's still pretty damn good, right? But I don't think Sean could ever win. You know what I mean?
Regan was ninth with like five, 6 people out. I just want to point that out.
That's that's true. Um, Yeah, I think in bro chat, it was a good point that they brought up. Um, I think it would almost be better if it was like a 202 again or like a 190. So there would
Yeah.
be a like a bigger disparity. But then, then Sean Clarito would win the next like 30 in a row, right? Because he's like 180 pounds. He would never have to worry about the weight cap. But if it was a little bit bigger of a disparity, if it was like 200 pounds or 195, then it's
Oh,
like,
okay.
okay, these guys are clearly structurally smaller and would not have a chance in open versus like Derek or Hottie, those guys were sucking down to 212 when really they're like 230 or 240.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah. No,
Yeah. So
that's a great point, man.
yeah.
It, yeah, yeah. No, I can agree with that.
Yeah, that's not my idea. That was like Fuad's, but I think it's a good point.
Nope. Scott's idea.
Yeah,
Scam.
that's right. That's right.
Okay. C-Bum, obvious winner. Yeah.
No, no doubt. Like he didn't I don't think he looked his condition this year, but he was full as a fucking house.
I remember when his back wasn't like on par with a lot of other people, and now his back's just outrageous.
Yeah. Yeah, his back is probably his strongest point now. Like to be honest, besides his waist, like his back used to be non-existent, and now it's probably his strongest point.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then Ramon's definitely second
Mm,
for sure. And then honestly, I don't think Urs is as good at three as everyone thinks he is,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I
I
don't
kind of agree with that. I think I don't think Ernst improved as much as I thought he did or would have, like
for
based on how
15
much size
pounds.
he put on.
No.
Yeah, yeah. His arms are still pretty big weakness. Like his back is still not the greatest. Like I honestly think Breon looked better than him. I thought Breon looked the best he ever has.
Mhm.
Which I still think Chris and Ramon beat that, but I think Breon looked the best he ever had. And I don't know how the judging really works too much at that level, but it's like, if two guys are pretty equal, like Urs and Breon, could potentially have been fairly equal, do you
Mhm.
put the younger up and coming guy ahead to promote that, or do you put the older guy that's been around? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really do think it's kind of turned into a popularity contest to an
Somewhat.
extent.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, I get it in terms of like trying to grow the sport, but at the same time, it just kind of sucks. It's about as subjective a sport as you get. So,
Mm,
but yeah,
yeah.
I wish my man Terrence did better, but I mean, it was better than last year, so I guess I can't complain. But
Yeah. Yeah. I think Terrence, what he's just he's short, and I think classic. They're going. It's the taller guy thing. Like it's like I don't think Terrence can pack on much muscle without blowing out his physique, right? Like he even said it in his post, like, okay, what am I gonna do post show Olympia? Like what were his feedback? And then his feedback was like his calves and forearms need to get bigger. Like when you're at that point, it's like he said it in a video, and it was like when you're at that point, it's like, man, like the judges are basically telling you don't fuck with anything else, but like improve on such little things, and then we'll see where it goes. But I think Ramon and Urs are popularity wise and also structural wise are just there's
yeah,
nothing that parents can do except grow 2 to 3 inches, right?
yeah, just sucked.
And then I
Um,
think sixth was Michael DeBull. I don't know if you've seen that guy. That guy's got a crazy physique.
yeah, no, I didn't think he would place that high, but six was pretty good for him.
Yeah, yeah. And then besides that, I think Mike Summerfield. No, Mike Summerfield got eighth, which was kind of tough for him. And then Wesley got seventh.
Where'd that
Which
Asian guy end up
Wesley's
placing?
physique, I think he was outside of the top 10. I don't know what happened. He wasn't there. I was like, that's a bummer.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
it was about a mismatch of pretty much everybody we thought.
yeah, exactly.
But
Um, yeah.
and then yeah, what do you think about open?
Uh, uh, I you know I like Derek's physique. I can't stand his lumps, like the lumps on his lats, right? Like that. I looked at some comparison pictures from last year or the couple years, and he's always had those lumps. This year they were more. I watched a video. I think it was synthol, because that's just what I think based on what it looks. I don't know. The video I watched, it looks like it could potentially be swollen lymph nodes,
Mm.
because your body's process because you've got lymph nodes in there and all. But then it's like, well, why weren't they swollen in your neck? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, who knows? But I think he looked great. I think Hottie looked great too. I just think once again, based on kind of where the sport's going and kind of the statements they made in the other divisions with like 212 and with fitness and men's physique, like they were kind of going more for like, what does the category go for? Well, we need a good blend of shape, conditioning, muscularity, all that type of stuff. It's
Yeah.
not it's not just like the most big and the most shredded. It's like body was bigger, more shredded, but like it didn't flow the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Derek's just so fucking pretty, man. It just sucks because
Yeah.
just Hottie's details are just absolutely nuts. I mean, it's not like he looked worse than last year. If anything, I thought he looked better in some ways. I think at least, but um, kind of like even what you were talking about. I don't think Derek did enough to really knock him off personally, but
Yeah.
I think it really just comes down to the whole freaking statement, I guess judges were trying to make. You know what I mean? I am glad Samson
Yeah.
came to third though.
Yeah. I think Derek has the opportunity to do like a Phil Heath. Like if he keeps improving, like I think he could do like 5 or 6 in a row.
Mhm.
Um the only thing is Derek, when you look at some of his shots, he's got some really bad weaknesses with some things. Like when he does an ab and thigh, he literally has like hardly any abs. Like it's really weird. Like that's why he always does a vacuum because he just doesn't, like if you're a men's open guy, you should have like blocked out abs. He doesn't really have those. And so it makes it look like there's a giant hole in his stomach
Mhm.
next to like a Hottie or Samson. And not that, Hottie's stomach is a little bit wider, but it's one of those things where it's like it looks good on that stage. But to kind of go back to Samson, I mean, because I love Samson, I wish he was first. I know why he wasn't, but like if I was a judge, I would have put him first because Samson's physique is just fucking beautiful. Like it's just like a piece of art. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If Samson can just get like wildly bigger, I feel like somehow, which I think is possible just based on like how much he's been able to improve. Like I feel like that would be the one way for him to really compete with Derek as time moves on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And conditioning, I think Samson's conditioning can be a lot better.
Yeah.
But also too, it's like I'm sure him and Milos are pushing down far. Like I'm sure he's not conditioned because he's missing cardio and doing stuff, right? I'm sure
Mhm.
he's doing exactly what he can do. So it's one of those things where it's like, we'll just be more conditioned. It's like I'm sure he's as conditioned as he probably can get. You know what I mean? Like there's some dudes like that's what he can get. And Samson's a little older too. He's like 38, right? So it's kind of
Mhm.
I'll be curious to see. I mean, Samson's improved a bunch over the past couple years. He's competing again this weekend at the Prague Pro, which is really cool to see. But yeah, I think, and he's going to do the Arnold Classic UK and the Arnold Classic in America again. So he's just not going to have an off season until the
Good
summer,
Lord.
probably.
Good
Yeah. So
Lord.
yeah, get good old Milos insulin loads for days.
Let's how much Humalog can we use for the next half a year?
Yeah, we got to get it. We got to drain the supply here.
Uh yeah, that's good old Milos, dude.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing his giant set stuff.
I do it. I did today. So I trained Una today, and I finish off our training with a giant set because of honestly, one, because it's fun, but two, because we're blood work trying to like use her blood glucose a little bit better, like I talked to you about. So
Mhm.
we did, and like I said, we just did one set. And it was at the very end after everything. We did a set of reverse hyperextensions for like 10 to 12, and then a set of seated hamstring curls for 10 to 12, a set of lying hamstring curls for 10 to 12, uh, a set of wide stance hack squats for 10 to 12 with a 5 second negative pause and a 5 second positive pause for 10. And then we did, it was going to be a minute wall sit, but she pushed her fucking ass to about 3.5 minutes on a wall sit
God.
and was just, and I was just sitting there and I was gonna do a minute and I'm sitting there kind of like next to her to make sure she doesn't fucking collapse. And I'm like, we're at a minute, can you keep going? And she's like, yep. And I was like, okay. And we got to like a minute and a half. I was like, all right, 30 more seconds. And we got to 30 more. And I was like, you want to keep going? She was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then we got to 3 minutes and she was about to like collapse. And so I was like, okay. I was like, and so that giant set stuff is fucking wild to me. I enjoy doing it, but how Milos does it, where it's like the whole workout, I have no
Yeah.
idea how he does it.
Yeah, that shit would be brutal. It also must be nice to have that range of equipment too, that you could also be able to do that.
Yeah, that's right. You're bodybuilding poverty over.
I got like one incline press that actually works. Sorry, one incline press at all. Everything else will
Yeah,
probably like implode my shoulders.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I do a giant set on my shoulder days where I'll do 10 like rear delt flies, 10 lateral raises, 10 partial lateral raises, and then I stick my arms out and do 10 circles forward and back, and then big circles forward and then big circles back. And then
oh,
I'll take like a minute and then I'll do lateral raises with the band as quick
mhm.
as I can for like a minute. So I think my wife just got here. Geode just like freaked out at the door. I think
Jazz.
Jess is here. Yeah. Hi, sweetie. I'm on a podcast with Alex. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I won't
So
hold it much
yeah,
longer. Don't worry.
yeah. We've been talking for a good like hour and a half. So who got fourth? Sorry to go back to the Olympia. Was it Brandon? He looked really
Brandon.
good, especially for being in the fucking hospital
Yeah,
like the
dude.
day
Holy shit.
before.
Yeah, holy
Yeah.
shit. No, I thought he looked pretty damn good. It's just those top three were too damn good. Fifth was Andrew, right? Jacked.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think Andrew looked as good as he did at Texas.
No,
He looked great. He looked great, but
but dude, I thought Hunter looked like shit. I j-
um
he just did not look good. From like 2 3 years ago when he got like fourth, like I thought that looked pretty good, but like I feel like he's just gotten worse.
yeah, his midsection is just kind of weird. I used to be a
Yeah,
big fan of his, and now like I don't know what's going on, but like when he's in that lineup, it just doesn't look he doesn't look like he belongs there. It looks like I've talked about this before. It looks like he has bolt-on parts. Like it's like, oh, he's got arms,
no,
and then
that's right.
he's got a chest, and then he's got a leg, but it's not like the right arms that go with the right chest that go with you know what I mean? It just kind of looks like bolt. And so that's obviously that's my opinion. I really like Hunter as like I like his YouTube, I like his training, but like objectively, I don't think he fits in there. It looks kind of
Mr.
odd.
Potato Head.
Yeah.
That's what I see him as now. That's funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then Frizzo got what, seventh? Frizzo looked good. His posing is just terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Absolutely atrocious. But he's just so goddamn massive.
he's huge. He's going to be competing against Samson this weekend at the Prague Pro.
If he could figure out his damn posing, man, it,
Yeah,
I feel like he could climb up like a couple spots.
yeah. He doesn't open up in his back double bicep. He like front like it's like you're a top 10 bodybuilder. Like listen to someone and like open unless he can't because he has a nerve issue. But like he's like flex like this, and it's like just open up and just you're making your body. You have a giant body, but you're making it this small. You've got to like open up. It's just weird.
Is he Russian? Is that what it is?
I think so. Something
Okay.
like that.
So something
Yeah,
something USSR.
something. And then Tonio, he got eighth, right? I think it
Did
was
he?
Tonio Regan, and then I think it was Tonio Regan and then Charles.
Yeah. Yep. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yep.
Tonio, that's another dude where it's like you think about the 212 going away because Tonio was like 220 pounds.
Yeah, yeah, dude, you might be right with the 212 discussion. That's a great freaking point.
Yeah. But Tonio, I think Tonio, if he give him a couple years, I think he's going to be a fucking monster.
Isn't
I
Tonyo
really
working
like his
with
physique.
one of the Cam Jansen guys?
I think he's working with Cameron Cheek, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that who it is? Okay,
I think so.
Cameron Cheek, man.
He's killing it. And then Regan, I thought Regan looked really good. Regan was shredded. I think that was the most shredded Regan there's been.
Yeah, I, I don't know what to do with Regan, man. I'm glad he finally broke like the top 10. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I don't know. I feel like I feel like he broke the top 10, but it's just going to come next year and he's just going to get shoved back. So I don't know. I still just don't think he can compete with most of those guys.
Yeah, I think his frame is just so big that he has too when he poses, he has too many holes next to like a Tonio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he like when I saw him up here, he's not as tall as I thought he was, but he's still about like 5'11", 6 foot. And so when he's posing next to a Tonio that's like 5'6",
Mhm.
that's just a ball of muscle, it just makes it look, it makes Regan look lanky. Kind of like Andrew Jack in a way. Like when Andrew Jack poses next to like a hottie, Andrew
Mhm.
Jack looks like a swimwear model almost. Like that obviously he's not, but you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
So
Charles Griffin's pretty damn old, isn't he?
I think so. And he had that chest tear last year, but he looked great. He was shredded. So
The one Matt Jansen
um
guy.
I know. And then I don't know who's 11th. I think Roman Fritz got 12. I really like Roman. I think Andrea Presti was like 13th. I love Andrea Presti's physique. I don't know if you know who like what he looks like, but he's one like I know why he's not getting placed high because his legs are really small compared to his upper body. But I really, really like his physique. And he's Italian, so me and Italians.
Goes to Italy once.
And well,
Big,
and I'm a
big
quarter
Italian guy.
Italian, so that's right.
But that's true. Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
think Shire got like 14th, right?
Dyer looked really good. He looked a lot bigger than he did at the Chicago Pro.
He's going to be good moving forward, man. He really is.
The the thing with him though is he is an older guy too. He's like 35, right? So it's
Isn't he?
kind
I
of
thought he was
he's like
only like 32 or something.
I
Wait,
think he's like
I,
everyone's
3 years.
32. Everyone in men's open's 32. I think he's between 32 and 35, something like that. But he's I say older, but like a lot of those other guys are that age. Because Samson's like 36, 38, something like that.
Hmm.
So yep.
Yep.
But yeah, overall, I was stoked about the Olympia. I think they made some good decisions with judging, and yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what happens next year. I think obviously we can talk about like Hottie's fit that he kind of threw. I don't think it was as bad as people made it out to be.
Right.
However, I think the IFBB hates that shit. Like I think they really don't like that, like kind of poutiness, or like when Big Ramy when he didn't show up for the guest posing, and then the next year's Olympia he got sixth, like, and he wasn't even compared. He was just like went out there and immediately got moved off. Like the IFBB really doesn't like that shit.
Yeah. It just sucks. It's like I obviously I do think it is a little bit different for him because I feel like that he feels like he represents his whole entire nation. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah,
So it's like I don't know. I feel like I could understand why you'd be super upset. Now, do I feel like it's worth walking off the stage for it? I don't know. Probably not, but
yeah,
just sucks. Sucks for
yeah.
him that
It's
potentially that could ruin the rest of his IFBB career. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know. Like I
One
don't
stupid
like
mistake.
yeah, like I think like next year, let's say all three of them look the same, but the judges in their mind, they're probably going to put Samson in front of him because of that. You know what I mean? So it's shitty, but that's just how it kind of works.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah. No, it's
um,
hopefully it'll not be a cursed Olympia next year where everybody's getting hurt or in the hospital days before or having to tap out because they're dehydrated after
Yeah.
prejudging or getting hurt in the
Where do
middle
you
of their fitness routine. But
yeah. Where do you think Nick would have placed?
dude, based on his pictures, I could have seen him third above Samson. I feel like it's third or fourth. It's really just going to be those four. I feel like battling it out for a while, or until Hottie goes away, or so those three. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think Nick, based on his pictures, he looked phenomenal. I think he would have compared better to Hottie and Derek than Samson did. And then I think Samson would have been the odd man out. And I think it would have been like Derek, Hottie, Nick. And then the third call out would have been Samson, Brandon, Andrew, Jack. Because I think those are almost like those could be two separate divisions, to be honest with you, like those two different call outs.
Mhm.
Because they're both open bodybuilders, but they both look so different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to be really interested to see what Nick does being injured, working on basically just all upper body for a long time and working.
Hmm.
Not that he even has weak points either, but like just bringing up solely all of that shit because his legs are fucking wild. So like for him to say, "Fuck it, I'm just only gonna focus on this stuff for the next God knows how many months." I think it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how that works out too.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see, because he gets so shredded. I'll be curious to see if his hamstring starts showing up really bad on stage. Like kind of how Chris Bumstead's does a little bit, but like it looks like Nick's hamstring was almost a worse tear. So I'll be curious to see like how much that throws off his physique if it does.
Yeah. Hopefully not that much since he's got varicose veins literally everywhere.
That's true.
You won't be able to see anything other than those.
Yeah, the snakes in his legs.
Yeah.
But,
But
well, I think since Jess is home, I think I'm gonna get off here. I'm sorry to cut you off.
dude, hour and a half, that's plenty, dude.
Hey, we should. I want to do this more often. We could do it like once every couple of weeks. I think it's cool to like one talk to you, obviously, but two, I think it's cool to just like reminisce
Yeah.
about like football and like kind of what we're learning with clients and like I think that's kind of cool and I think people enjoy that. So I've had a few clients that listened to you and Taylor's podcast and really enjoyed it. So
Oh,
and
good.
like people that are like they were like, oh man, I didn't realize like you do this with food or you do that or like I had a couple that were like, why have you done that with me? And it's like because you won't let me, like you know what I mean? Like you won't let me do like Taylor's like, cool, I'm gonna go head first, and then I try to push up another client's food, and they're like, I just can't do it, and I'm like, well, I can't use my whole pool bag of tricks, if you don't
Right.
actually. So that was kind of cool to have that to have Taylor on there and be like, this is what it looks like to have an athlete follow everything to a T and kind of see what happens. So, but yeah, I would like to do this more often. Maybe we can drag Tony on here next time too.
If Tony would respond to our group chat, maybe he could.
I know, I know, but well, I'll talk to you later, man. All right.
See you, brother. This was fun.
Yep. Yep. See ya. Bye.